In the fifth Sefer of the Torah, in Sefer Devarim, there are three pesukim that use the word devekus, or dovek, in regards to the relationship between the Yidden and Hashem. In Parshas Veschanon, in Perek Daled, Pasuk Daled, it says, V'atem advekim b'Hashem. In Parshas Eikev, Perek Yudalef, Pasuk Chav Beis, it says, L'dovka boy. And finally, in Parshas Re'eh, Perek Yud Gimel, Pasuk Hey, it says, Uvoy sidbokum. So we have three times where the Torah says that we should be dofuk in Hashem. Now, there's the world-famous question, can we really connect to Hashem? The Pasuk says over there, also, right around in Perek Daled, Pasuk Chav Daled, it says, Ki Hashem aleikecha eish eichlahu. Hashem he's a burning fire. And when the Sifri talks about this pasuk, he adds an additional pasuk from Daniel that refers to Hashem as a burning fire. So can we really connect to Hashem? So I'm going to try to keep this simple, but if you really look at the different sources, it can be quite complex. But there's two Gemaras and one Sifri, which covers all three bases. In other words, we have three times where the Torah has this wording, and there's this question that's asked: can we really connect to Hashem? Is there some sort of are there tools? What are the tools? What does the pasuk really mean? So there's a Gemara in Kesubos that takes care of the first pasuk. There's a Sifri that takes care of the second pasuk. There's a Gemara in Sota that takes care of the third pasuk. So the Gemara in Kesubos, Daf Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Beis, says, "V'chi efshar lidvuki b'shchina." Can we connect with the Shechina in regards to the pasuk in Devarim? Perek Daled, V'atem advekim b'Hashem. Can we really connect to the Shechina? And then it brings that pasuk about that Hashem is a burning fire, eish eichlahu. And he gives three ways that we can actually connect to Hashem. He says it's through connecting to the Talmidei Chachamim, the famous comment that when you connect with the Talmid Chacham, you can really connect with Hashem. What that means exactly we'll get to later. But he says when you connect with the Talmid Chacham, you can connect to Hashem. And he says either marry off your daughter to a Talmid Chacham, Masi Bitul Talmid Chacham, do business with the Talmid Chacham, Oiseh Prakmatya, or assist him financially by Mahana Min Chasaf. And Rashi in the Gemara over there makes a very interesting comment. He says, Al Yedei Divukom Shel Talmidei Chachamim, through the Dvekos in Talmidei Chachamim, Yizku L'chayis, you will merit life. Now the Sifri, which obviously came before the Gemara, he in Parshas Eikev, in that second pasuk goes Dovka Boy Perek Yudalef, pasuk Chav Beis. In the Sifri, it's an Ois Mem Tes. You gotta kind of flip through the pages over there. So like I mentioned, that's the Sifri where he quotes an additional pasuk in Daniel, where Hashem is referred to as fire, or some Aramaic words over there. Daniel, part of Daniel are written in a very cryptic Aramaic. And the Sifri, he talks about connecting to Talmidei Chachamim, but he doesn't get into the in other words, the Gemara in Kesubos, when it's referring to connecting to Talmidei Chachamim, marrying your daughter to a Talmidei Chachamim, doing business, financially helping them, that seems to be a little bit of a distant connection to Talmidei Chachamim. This Sifri says just connect with Talmidei Chachamim, and he actually, the Sifri adds in a very interesting a word over there. He says, connect with Talmidei Chachamim and their students. I'm not sure exactly what that means, because seemingly the students are also Talmidei Chachamim, but he says connect with Talmidei Chachamim and their students. Maybe that's kind of like connecting to a Rebbe and the elder Chassidim. I'm not going to get in trouble for adding my commentary on the Sifri. We'll get back to the Sifri in a minute because he has a very interesting line. But that Sifri seems to be, shall we say, a step further in terms of Devekis Talmidei Chachamim, where he seems to be telling us to actually connect to Talmidei Chachamim directly, which could be, this is a possible level of interpretation, that the Sifri is understanding that this pasuk L'Dav Kaboy, which is in Perek Yud Aleph in Devarim, is coming after the previous pasuk in Perek Daled, which says to connect with Talmidei Chachamim, and the Gemara interprets that to mean, marrying your daughter to Talmidei Chachamim, helping them. This next pasuk is kind of like an additional level of connection to Talmidei Chachamim, where you're actually directly connecting to Talmidei Chachamim, and through that you connect to Hashem. And then finally, we have the third pasuk, Uvoisid Vokun, Parshas Rei, Perek Yud Gimel pasuk Hey, where over there the Gemara in Sota Daf Yud Daled Amud Aleph asks the same question. Can we connect to Hashem, and so on. And the Gemara over there does not bring the Talmud Chacham answer. It says no. What this pasuk means, it means can we go after the ways of the Shechina? Rather, go after the attributes of Hashem. Learn from Hashem. Be, kind of like Hashem, so to speak. And he brings examples where Hashem clothed the naked by Adam and Chava, and he visited the sick by Avram, and he went through Menachem Avul to Yitzchak after Avram passed away. So we should also do these attributes of Hashem: clothing the naked, giving tzedakah, gemilas chasodim, bikur cholim, and so on and so forth. Nicham avelim. So why is this pasuk different? So it could be, once we already know about connecting to the Chachamim, so this pasuk has to mean something else. But once you get into the kind of the lingo of each of the pesukim, there's much to say. The Iyun Yaakov on the Gemara in Sota says this last pasuk, leads room to say that it doesn't necessarily mean to connect directly to Hashem, because the pasuk says Acharei Hashem Elokeichem Telechu, go after Hashem. So does it actually mean kind of one-on-one? So there's room to interpret that we're referring to a little bit more of a distant relationship over here, but be as it may. What does it mean connecting to Talmidei Chachamim and thereby connecting to Hashem? How does that work? The Sifri, the wording of the Sifri, I didn't talk out the exact wording. He says, connect to Talmidei Chachamim and Ma'ila Alav HaKosuv as if Ki'ilu Nidvak B'Shechina. And actually, interestingly, the Alter Rebbe, in Perek Beis of Tanya, when he quotes this concept of a voice of Dvok, when he quotes the Sifri, the second source, he says, he adds a word to the Mezritch. He says, Ki ilu nidvak b'shchina mamish. The Alter Rebbe adds in a mamish over there. So the Bnei Yissaschar and the Alter Rebbe both have their styles of understanding this concept. They're both students of the Maggid of Mezritch. I'm sorry. The Makneh, the Baal HaFlo, Rabbi Horowitz, and the Alter Rebbe, who are both students of the Maggid, each have their style of understanding this concept of a voice of Dvok. The Makneh, the Baal HaFlo, in Pischa zeira, Ois Yud Beis, he says simply that pasuk says the Sifri, the Gemara says you can't connect to Hashem. He's a burning fire. Talmidei Chachamim could. They have a special relationship with Hashem where their neshamas are built in a way where they're learning enough Torah. They can actually connect to Hashem. They have a real devekus. Through us little peanut heads who can have that relationship, but we can have a relationship with those that can have a relationship. Thereby we can be mekayim the uvaysid dvokun to Hashem Himself. So what the Hafla, the Makneh is saying is that the Gemara's question that can we connect to Hashem, that's a question for regular people, but for great Talmidei Chachamim, through the dveikos and Torah, limud Torah l'shma, he says, they can actually have a true dveikos, and us, by connecting to them, are able to tap into that. The Makneh, the Balaswa, he was actually originally a student of the Vilna Gaon, and then he became a student of the Maggid of Mezritch. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya Ch says that it's a little complex, but basically what he says is that all the Jews are really part of one unit. In other words, all the neshamas put together are really can be viewed as one unit, as one general neshama. It's kind of broken up into small parts. 600,000 neshamas are all kind of part of one package. And what's a neshama? Alter Rebbe says the neshama is a chelik elikami mal mamash. The neshama is really a part of Hashem. So this whole unit is really a chelik elikami mal mamash. Now, there's the higher parts of this neshama, and there's the lower parts, so to speak. There's the head of this, the general neshama, and there's the foot of the general neshama. The foot of the head of the general neshama is shall we say, it's a less filtered level of Hashem, and the lower part of this big unit is a more filtered part of Hashem. So regular people are considered kind of like the regel of this neshama. The part of the neshama that we get is the regel of this big unit. It's more filtered. It's not as davuk in Hashem. The higher part of this neshama, which is given to the Reish Bnei Yisrael, that is a less filtered level of Hashem. It's a direct connection to Hashem, and through the regel connecting to the Rosh, through the lower neshama connecting to the higher neshama, is connecting to a deeper level of Hashem. So through connecting to the neshama of the tzaddik or the Talmidei Chachamim in that generation, you're connecting to you're actually uboisid vakum, because a neshama is a chelik elika mimal mamash. So you're actually connecting to Hashem Himself. Now, I mentioned the Bnei Yissaschar, so the Bnei Yissaschar has a very interesting comment. He says, actually, not in the Bnei Yissaschar, he says in his Sefer Derech Pekudecha, Mitzvahs Asay Aleph, Ois Chav Zayin, he says in parentheses at the end over there, he says, Niduli Davge Talmud Chacham Ayidei pnimius HaTorah. This concept of connecting to a Talmud Chacham or the Sifri, that as if you connect to Hashem, is specifically a Talmud Chacham Ayidei pnimius HaTorah. It's specifically a Talmud Chacham that knows pnimius HaTorah, that knows the inner secrets of Torah, which could connect to what the Makneh says, that we're specifically dealing with a Talmud Chacham that learns Lishma. And when you know pnimius HaTorah, it's a lot easier to learn Torah Lishma. But you can bring a very strong support for this concept from the end of the Sifri, that I did not quote the Sifri in Parsha today. I'm sorry, the Sifri in Parsha's Eikev. he concludes, he says, that Derech Pekudecha, he quotes from the Derech Pekudecha, whoever those were, those that took notes, they said, in this context, that one that learns Agada, one that wants to really grasp Hashem, the one that created the world, Limud Haggadah, learn the teachings of the Aggadita. In other words, he says that, once he concludes connecting to Talmidei Chachamim, he says, and another way to do that is through actually learning Aggadita, learning the secrets of Torah. You are medavik b'drachav, and that's another way to so this can be a little bit of a support to the comment of the Bnei Yissaschar, and the Sifri concludes, if you did your best to connect with Hashem, or Hashem, I guess Hashem saying, if you did your best to connect with me, afani esem mashallah, I too will do what I need to do, and I'll help you connect to me.